When I started at Timney, we had a tiny little company with $500,000 in sales and a bunch of broken down machines. And that wasn't what I saw in my mind. I could see this beautiful, vibrant company that's really close to what Timney is right now. And I realized that I could either see lack, I don't have enough money to buy CNC machines. Nobody's gonna buy enough triggers to make a car payment. Or I could see things the way I see things. And I realized that I'm whack, and it's my whack that creates what we've done.
I wish that Franklin D. Roosevelt had lived to see this day. General Eisenhower informs me that the forces of Germany have surrendered to the United Nations. The flags of freedom fly all over Europe.
Alan Timney was the most amazing creative mind I've met in all my years. In 1946, he had come back from World War II, and he realized there were a lot of people making modifications to rifles they had brought back from Germany, Mauser specifically. So he came up with a trigger to make a Mauser much more accurate for people hunting. And it was a hit. In 1981, my folks bought the company from Alan because he had a fire in his shop a couple of years before that, lost a lot of inventory, and as a result, lost a lot of business. They turned it around, made it into a good, solid company.
I think one of the coolest things about John is everything he told me from the time I interviewed with him over 9 years ago, everything he told me that would happen at Timney has happened. Because when I came here, there were 7 of us. Now there's over 30.
Working for someone who is more of a visionary, that allows people freedom of movement to do what they do well, is not only refreshing, but I think that it also creates better results.
Probably 15 years ago, I heard about Chris Ellis and could write well, knew people, and I should talk to him. And I was like, why would I talk to him? I could barely afford to make my truck payment, And he goes, because we can get the word out about triggers. And so I talked to Chris, and he said, yeah, I'd love to help you out.
Here's what I know about Chris. I've worked with Chris for over 9 years, and what Chris says he's gonna do, he does.
What I started to learn was I can hire really smart people, but then it's time to listen to them. Time to take their ideas into account and figure out, does this make sense? So I bought this wire EDM. This is where I learned about smart people. I bought this wire EDM, a very, very expensive tool, and Calvin's company had just been acquired by AT&T, and they were moving to Kansas City. And Calvin had a young family at the time and didn't really want to move to Kansas City. So he came by the shop, and we talked, and he saw what we did, and came back a week later, and he had a beautiful, gorgeous part that he had made. And I was like, how'd you do this? He goes, wire EDM. Same exact machine we've got out back. He goes, yeah. I said, you can make this part on this machine. He goes, yeah. I said, come work with me.
So Calvin's our lead engineer, the mad scientist. It's witchcraft. I don't know how he does it. We've named a couple triggers Calvin Elites. And we named them Calvin Elites because he made them amazing. And we wanted to honor him that way.
Now we're cutting the holes to make them the right size, because we drilled them undersized. Now we cut the outside to that hole that we've already wired, so we know everything's concentric and the hole's in the right spot. So, yeah, that wire is there. Just grab a hold of that, it'll get your pacemaker.
Started to see real results out of making precision parts the first time, and I was bitten by this bug that goes, all right, how do we create the best possible part where nobody touches anything until we have to? And that's why the shop looks the way it does.
We put them on a conveyor. The robot picks them up, puts them in the machine. About a 4-minute cycle time. So every 4 minutes, that block turns into that. Nobody touching it.
The thing that sets Timney apart from any other company is our people. I know that that's what everybody says, but we are a motley crew of people, and every single one of the people who works here is an absolute ninja at what they do. You walk through the shop, you see everything from people in polos to more ink than Staples has. It's from a common respect for one another, and it's respect for how people live their lives and how they do their jobs.
We take every single trigger. After it's assembled, it goes into an action and it's tested. And we multiple times will run that trigger through that action. We'll dry fire it 15, 20 times, slam fire it a bunch of times, and just make sure that trigger is set perfectly before it leaves this facility.
Beta testing with Timney is something that it's a process that's grown and changed dramatically just over the past year. We create the prototype, get it into some firearms, and get those rifles out and actually go and shoot them. So, I mean, we've got an amazing warranty. It's lifetime, no questions asked. But it's important to continue to make the best that we can. And in doing so, get a chance to get some amazing feedback. Help us to develop that product better.
I didn't want us to necessarily just be a trigger company. So what we do is we serve one another. We create crazy good shit to blow people's minds. And we got a culture that ignites people, you know, that really, really gathers them and makes them be, yeah, I want to be a part of this. That to me is just a place I want to go to every day.